Once a year, in cities and villages across India, the sky itself seems to turn to color. Clouds of bright pink, yellow, green, and blue powder drift through the streets. Strangers throw color at each other, laughing, and nobody seems to mind at all. By the end of the day, it's genuinely hard to tell who anyone is underneath it. This is Holi, India's festival of colors, and that's precisely the point. For one day, faces are hidden, clothes are ruined, and normal rules quietly dissolve. It's one of the oldest festivals in the world, with roots stretching back thousands of years. And underneath the color fights and water balloons is a surprisingly deep, layered story. It starts, as many things in India do, with more than one legend. The night before Holi, families gather around large bonfires lit across the country. This is called Holika Dahan, and it comes from a very old story of arrogance and devotion. According to legend, a demon king demanded that everyone in his kingdom worship him alone. His own son refused, remaining devoted instead to the god Vishnu. Furious, the king enlisted his sister, who possessed a cloak said to make her immune to fire. She sat with the boy inside a blazing pyre, expecting only him to burn. Instead, the cloak failed her, and she alone was consumed by the flames.
The boy walked away completely unharmed, protected by his unwavering devotion.
The bonfires lit every year are said to reenact that very moment. People circle the fire, sing, and toss in grain or twigs, letting go of old negativity. It's framed simply as good outlasting arrogance, faith outlasting cruelty. The next morning brings the part of Holi most of the world actually recognizes.
Streets fill with color, and this half of the story belongs to an entirely different legend.
It centers on Krishna, a beloved and mischievous god usually shown with blue skin. As a child, Krishna worried that his dark complexion would keep the fair-skinned Radha from loving him. He complained to his mother, who gave him a playful, simple suggestion. "If it bothers you so much," she said, "just go color her face however you like." So Krishna did exactly that, painting Radha's face with color, half joke and half declaration. Rather than being offended, Radha laughed, and the two became devoted to each other. Their friends joined in, smearing each other with color until the whole village was involved. That single playful moment is said to be the origin of Holi's most famous tradition. Today, that morning is called Rangwali Holi, the festival of playing with color.
Colored powder, called gulal, is thrown by the handful, often with real aim and enthusiasm.
Water balloons and water guns join in too, especially among children. Each color traditionally carries its own small meaning within the celebration. Red stands for love. Yellow stands for prosperity and new beginnings. Blue honors Krishna himself. Green represents fresh growth and the arrival of spring. Because Holi also marks a season, the quiet turning point from winter into spring.
Fields are ready for harvest, and the color is treated as a kind of celebration of that abundance.
In parts of northern India, the festivities take an especially playful, theatrical turn. In the towns linked to Radha's own legend, women chase men through the streets with long sticks.
The men carry shields, laughing as they dodge the good-natured swings.
It reenacts an old flirtatious legend and has become a beloved spectacle of its own. Sweets play their part too. A pastry called gujia, filled with nuts and dried fruit, appears everywhere. Families spend days preparing them, and they're shared generously between neighbors and strangers alike. But perhaps the most striking part of Holi isn't the color at all. It's what the color erases. For one day, a person's fine clothes and a person's plain clothes end up looking the same.
Once everyone is covered head to toe, it becomes genuinely difficult to read status or wealth.
Rich and poor throw the same handful of color at each other, and it lands the same way.
That leveling effect isn't an accident. It's baked into how the festival is meant to be played.
Old disagreements are, at least for the day, supposed to be set aside entirely. People who haven't spoken in months will throw color at each other and laugh like nothing happened. In a country with deep and often rigid social hierarchies, that one day stands apart. It doesn't erase inequality, but it does offer a rare symbolic pause from it. Holi has traveled far beyond South Asia in recent decades. Large diaspora communities carry it to cities across the world, from London to New York. Color runs, music festivals, and public parties now borrow its imagery freely. Not everyone who joins in knows the full story behind the legends and the bonfires. Many Hindu communities have gently welcomed this spread, seeing it as a form of shared joy. Others hope the deeper meaning doesn't get lost entirely inside the spectacle. Because at its heart, Holi was never really about the mess. It's about what the mess allows.
So step back and consider what actually happens when color covers absolutely everyone equally.
Two old legends sit at the center of it, one about devotion outlasting cruelty.
The other about love expressed clumsily, playfully, and completely without shame. Both stories end the same way, with warmth winning out over fear.
The bonfire the night before lets people release grudges, old failures, and quiet resentments.
The colors the morning after let people show up as exactly messily themselves.
No fine clothes to protect, no careful appearance to maintain, just color, laughter, and company. For one day a year, an entire country agrees to stop performing status.
Strangers become playmates. Old grudges get literally washed away with water and color.
There's something worth borrowing in that, even far outside of India.
A single day, deliberately set aside, where appearances simply stop mattering.
Where the point isn't how you look, but how fully you show up anyway.
Holi doesn't ask anyone to be tidy, composed, or careful for a change. It asks the opposite. Get covered, get loud, get a little bit ridiculous together.
There's a kind of trust required to let a stranger throw color on your face. And a kind of joy that only shows up once you stop worrying how you look. But evening, the color fades from clothes and skin within a few good washes.
But something about the shared mess tends to linger a little longer than that. A quiet reminder that connection rarely needs anyone to look their best.
Often it just needs everyone willing to look a little foolish together on purpose. Spring arrives the same way every year. Fields turning green, air turning warm. And once a year, millions of people step outside and turn every color at once. Not to hide who they are, but for one bright day to stop worrying about it. Red for love, yellow for hope, blue for Krishna, green for the season ahead.